Who asked for this? Who thought Shrek 5 was a good idea? Who thought that changing the animation of Shrek 5 was a good idea? Look back into the past, into the games, and the movies, and the shows that we all love when they change the animation style. Is it ever successful? Has there ever been something successful where they completely change the animation? American Dragon, Johnny Test. Those are the two main ones that I can think of. Completely failed. Teen Titans. Apparently the plot got leaked to Shrek 5, and it sounds horrible. Let's check it out. How horrible is it? It can't be that bad, can it? Oh, it definitely can.
So, a couple of months ago, the highly anticipated Shrek 5 got a 27-second teaser trailer, and oh boy did people have thoughts. Most of those thoughts being negative. The trailer has 644,000 downvotes to only 223,000 upvotes.
I saw people glazing this, saying that it sounds amazing, it sounds great, it sounds modern, it's what they want. I don't know who these people are. I don't think that they've ever enjoyed any of the Shrek movies. I think they're just hopping on because there are people that they disagree with about other things hating on this new Shrek. So they're like, oh, I have to automatically like this new Shrek. Gotta own the chuds.
Not a great ratio. I think the biggest issue people have with this teaser are the designs. They've sort of Disneyfied Shrek and Donkey a bit. They're a little bit cuter than they used to be in the other movies. Fans hate change, famously, and if the leaked plot details are to be believed, I don't think that people are going to be turning around on Shrek 5 anytime soon. It's rough. Here is the alleged Shrek 5 plot.
Oh no, here we go. Okay, let's listen to it.
Shrek's daughter, played by Zendaya, practices magic and accidentally transports Shrek and Donkey to the real world. And
what the fuck? What? Excuse me? What?
now they must find a way back because she doesn't know the spell to bring them home. Now this scoop comes from Twitter user MyTimeToShine, who does have a relatively mixed track record with scoops and leaks like this, but definitely not a track record to just write off. They have gotten a lot of things right, including the casting of Zendaya in this movie.
Well, yeah, but you could just throw a shot in the dark and say Zendaya is going to be casting something, and she probably is nowadays.
Week before it was officially revealed. That being said, they're not always right, and this plot sounds bad, so let's take it with a grain of salt, but let's also talk about it. Because if this is the plot for Shrek 5, I have to wonder, what are we even doing?
They don't know? Using an IP, trying to make a thing that they wanted to make, but they don't know how to make something that's good, so they have to take something that we love and destroy it? Guarantee gonna make a little bit of money at least. That's all they care about.
Here, Shrek and Donkey in the real world. What does that mean? Is it the real world as in live action? Are we going full Smurfs? Are we going to see Shrek and Donkey in a live action world? Or are we talking about a fully animated version of our real world that exists outside of their fairy tale world? In which case, I also don't really understand that move at all, because one of the most fun games of Shrek for the fans is the way they've sort of adopted real-world ideas and adapted them into this fairy tale world. That was mostly a thing introduced in Shrek 2, but like Far, Far Away is all about that stuff. You've got all of the different stores and all of the different ideas, them watching cops on the TV, but it's nights, that kind of stuff. And that just kind of eliminates an entire game from the movie premise. And it feels like something that they have the most fun doing when making these movies. Although we do see a little bit of that in the teaser. They are sort of TikTokifying the magic mirror here, which they're swiping through, which I find a little bit cringe.
It is incredibly cringe. They are trying to modernize this movie. And people in the future looking back and watching this movie, seeing all this modernization that's put in it, they're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? I don't know what any of this is. This is from a culture, a time that I'm not used to. You can go back and watch Shrek 1, Shrek 2, Shrek 3, and they still be watchable because they don't throw any modernization into it. At least anything like that, like TikTok swiping. Probably gonna put a bunch of woke stuff in it. It's probably not going to be around in just a few years, let alone 10, 20.
Personally, it's at least, you know, showcasing that game of them sort of fairy tale-ifying real-world things. So I guess we shouldn't expect it to be fully absent, because there it is. That also just makes me wonder, are we really going to see this plot? Are we really seeing Shrek and Donkey go into the real world? Why, after all of this time, would this be the story that they're going for a Shrek sequel, especially after Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was like this rousing success. Look, if you know me at all, if you're super familiar with my work and my opinions, you'll know I'm not the biggest Shrek guy, but Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is such a great movie. It's so well done. I think they adapt that fairy tale world into such a unique and amazing way and tell such a cool, engaging, and heartfelt story that is an incredible metaphor for our own mortality and, you know, grappling with our own mortality.
Well, we can't have actual good stuff anymore. If it's a good thing that's normal that we used to like, it's problematic. We can't have it. We have to push agendas now. We have to push modernization and woke culture. It's not gay enough.
That movie is really great. And that movie was a huge success. It was beloved by everyone. And I know that you don't want the Shrek movies to have the same tone as the Puss in Boots movies, but you have to at least look at what worked in your long-awaited sequel and then take that into account when you're making another long-awaited sequel, right? I can't see any single Shrek fan being excited about the idea of Shrek and Donkey going to the real world instead of just getting back to basics and telling a story about Shrek, Donkey, and Shrek's family, Fiona, and now obviously Zendaya playing Shrek's daughter. That's the one thing that I kind of am holding out hope.
Shrek is so cooked, man. Oh man, Shrek is so cooked. What, like everything that we used to like, it just needs to all die now. Like, if we're making sequels and new renditions and like remakes and all that, just stop. Just stop. We can't do it. It's not working. Do something else. They don't know how. They have to use these old IPs because people know them and they'll go see the next Shrek even if they think it's going to be bad because they've seen all the other Shreks. They got to watch the new Shrek. But it's going to be the last one. If this one's bad, they're not going to go watch the next Shrek. They're not going to go watch Shrek 6.
About with this is that like this hopefully will still be a family story. I think moving forward in time and aging up the kids,
it's going to be a family story, which means in modern times that they're going to try and put the activist agenda in there to try and change people's minds. They're going to put propaganda in there so that they can teach your children things that they want them to know rather than things that you want them to know.
And having Zendaya play Shrek and Fiona's daughter is probably a good move. That feels like a really smart way to simplify the story and make it about Shrek and Fiona in a time in their life that we haven't been able to explore yet. And I think moving Shrek and Donkey to the real world instead of actually exploring that relationship, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Making a Shrek 5 doesn't make any sense. Making Zendaya the new main character doesn't make any sense. Her being in it at all doesn't make any sense. Shrek having this person be his daughter doesn't make any sense. Nothing about this makes any fucking sense. And I can't wait to watch it. Now, I'm not going to pay money for it when I watch it. So you're going to have to figure that one out yourself.
I mean, Zendaya has to be a big part of the movie, although I will say this plot synopsis does say that Zendaya is the one, that her character is the one who sends them to the real world. So that would track if they're casting a really big name for Shrek's daughter. And we also know that Shrek and Fiona have 2 other kids. So like, who's going to play them? Zendaya is clearly the standout, like main kid that's going to be in this movie. Are we looking at a plot where she sends them somewhere and she's just kind of the inciting incident catalyst? Or are we hopefully going to get a real story about that relationship? I do think it's great that they've had time pass in this world and that we're not just picking up where the last one left off, especially because the last 2 were kinda duds. Shrek Forever After already did the weird, like, sort of alternate timeline thing where they take Shrek and Donkey and remove them from their familiar world and put them into this, like, slightly different version of their world. So it's really weird to me that you would then do that again and take Shrek and Donkey and put them in the real world.
Well, they have to do it again. They have to do something that they've already done and make it a little bit different because they don't know how to do anything else. They don't know how to actually write good stories.
It's just maybe a little too samey. Obviously, the world itself will be very different. I think after all this time, especially after fans have been waiting so long for more Shrek and clamoring for more Shrek because Shrek fans are rabid. And in between the time that Shrek 4...
And they're going to shove a whole bunch of member berries down your throat. Remember this character? Remember that character? Remember these characters? This is what they're doing now. This is what they look like now. You remember? I remember.
And Shrek 5 have come out. Shrek became like an online sensational, meme-ified, beloved property. I don't know why you wouldn't want to deliver the simplest, most heartfelt, most Shrek-ified plot you possibly could. I will say, even though the teaser trailer was not beloved by people and people are not a big fan of the redesigns, people found it a little bit cringe. I think the teaser trailer itself maybe indicates that the story will be more what I'm hoping for from it, which is a family story. They pretty specifically...
Family story for what kind of family? They want a normal family story for a normal family, or they want a woke story to try and push propaganda to a normal family?
Showcase all of the characters in one location. Even just these jokes sort of feel like it's about the conflicts between the generations, like Shrek making Zendaya's character sort of cringe and with his behavior. Really hoping that that is what we're going to see out of this movie. Granted, I'm not like a huge Shrek fan, so me saying that is almost meaningless. I don't really care if this movie is good or not, but for the sake of you guys, for the sake of the Shrek fans, I really hope that Shrek 5 isn't a huge disaster like it could be. And
I hope it's either really good or really bad. And I'm thinking it's gonna be either really bad or mediocre. I really hope it's not mediocre, because I want to have something to talk about. I don't want to just say like, man, this movie was boring and the characters were trash. I want to be like, this is why this is one of the worst movies that I've ever seen. That's what I want out of this movie.
No, I think everyone's hopes are really high after Puss in Boots. It would really be a nightmare if Shrek 5 came out and was just loathed. I think the longer a franchise exists, the harder it is to return with a satisfying movie that isn't just rehashing the same ideas.
Like, they could have done the Puss in Boots thing where they just latch on to a character in the world and make a series out of it. Do a movie or two. They could do that with Pinocchio. Pinocchio could have been the guy.
I think if we look at any big franchise, the longer those franchises exist, the more things those franchises are, and the more entry points people have to those franchises.
And the bigger the franchises try to be, the wider the audience they try and get. Like, legit, think of any franchise that was out 20 years ago. Where are they now? What are they doing? Trying to get the most audience, make the most money, do the worst things possible, push propaganda.
And people become fans for different reasons. And then if you start to introduce new things later in a Lego sequel, mostly fans tend to reject that. I always look at like the Ghostbusters Afterlife movie, which
Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, Avatar: The Last Airbender. As time goes on, the original fans get kicked in the nuts and forgotten about. On purpose.
People loved, and that movie has almost zero original ideas, which really bums me out. All of the ghosts were just from the first Ghostbusters movie. There was no humor, and it was like this,
oh, you remember? I remember.
This weird, overly reverential thing. And I don't know, maybe that's what fans want. Maybe fans want a Shrek 5 that's like reverential to the original Shrek movies. But personally, I think just an expansion of the world, an expansion of the characters, and a natural continuation of them in this new time and place in their life where
No, stop trying to want things that are good, because what's gonna happen is they're gonna be like, oh, you fans, you like Shrek? We're gonna make a live action version of the first one.
They are parents, a little bit older, their kids are getting older, probably going out into the real world soon. She's probably a teenager getting older, maybe into young adulthood soon. And hopefully that's what the story is about.
You know why they changed the animation? I 100% think I know why. I think they changed the animation because the animation looks cheaper. It does. It looks cheaper. They probably spent less money on it. And then all of the real life scenes, they don't have to spend money to animate.
It just, I don't know, every single one of these stories should be about these characters at certain places in their life. I think the first and second really exemplify that, where the first is about Shrek sort of accepting other people into his life, and the second one is about him struggling with the in-law situation. That's a huge part of their life, and their moving forward with the family side of things. The third one is about Fiona being pregnant and all that. That's a terrible, terrible movie. And then the fourth one is about him coping with being a young dad and having young kids, even though 3 and 4 don't really work. So if this movie...
I remember kind of liking 3 when I was a kid. I don't think I've seen Shrek 4, actually. I think I've seen part of it. There were like Shrek babies in it, so I wasn't interested.
Is not about Fiona and Shrek as parents dealing with an older kid in a way that's reflective of like, actual parenthood. I don't really know what the point is. Are we really going to tell that story through Shrek and Donkey being in the real world? Sounds creatively bankrupt, if I'm being honest. That's really all I got to say. What do you guys think about the Shrek 5?
I think that they wrote a different movie and were like, well, we could turn Shrek into this.
Leaked synopsis. I'm starting to think this can't be real, but like, this person is right half the time. So maybe it's real. And if it's real, yikes. Okay, let me know below in the comments. Peace.
Maybe it's real and they leaked it on purpose to see how people like it. And nobody likes it except for weirdos on the internet who are glazing it for some reason. And I think they're glazing it just because there are people that they disagree on other things saying they don't like it. So they're like, well, you're a racist bigot, so, and you don't like Shrek, so I do like the new Shrek. That's all I got for today. Buy a t-shirt down there in the description. I'm out.